Fani Willis disqualification hearing. Now, as y'all know, the actual witness testimonies and all that type of stuff, that happened a couple weeks ago. And then the judge went and did some research on this whole attorney-client privilege thing that Bradley and Wade was trying to push. Excuse me. And the judge said, I just did some research and I got up with some people too. And that attorney-client privilege stuff, that don't count. Y'all, that don't matter here. Like, your attorney-client privilege is about you and your capacity as his divorce lawyer and things that have to do with that divorce. That don't cover these conversations that you had with Wade about the start of his relationship with Fani Willis. Okay, so you got to talk about it. So pretty much they bring Terence Bradley back into the courtroom on like Monday or Tuesday or whatever this week, and they re-question him about these text messages. Ashley Merchant is back on him. Yo, what's good with these messages that you sent me and that we was talking about? We was talking about all this, and you said that, and now you changing your answers up. Like, what is this about? You told me that their relationship started when they was both judges in municipal court. You told me, I asked you if the relationship started before XYZ. You told me absolutely. You said you knew about all these trips to this place, but you told me everything, my boy. Now up here, you doing this type of, you taking everything back or saying you speculated. And so pretty much, so while Ashley Merchant is asking the questions, Mr. Bradley's attorney is objecting to pretty much everything. And Bradley is pausing for a very long time. Every time he gets questioned, I guess he's pausing, like giving his attorney time. Hey, think of an objection and get it off. Cause I'm not trying to answer none of these questions. So everything that they ask, object to it and say that, we already discussed it. So pretty much that's what they did the whole time. They tried to bail him out, but it didn't work because he still looked like a major liar up there. But Ashley Merchant even accused him. He said, hey, they're clearly coaching him. Like Bradley is looking at Wade in the courtroom and they're signaling to each other non-verbally. And Bradley, he got offended by that. He didn't like that she said that, but she said it. So now one thing I did find out is that when Bradley told Ashley Merchant all of this information, this was like a couple months ago. This was while he knew that she was investigating Nathan Wade. I thought that this was like gossip from way back in the day when they first, while they was all still friends. I thought they was just gossiping. But all of this stuff that Bradley told her was so that she could use it in this investigation. He knew she was using it and he was trying to help her use it, right? So he was trying to help her use it, and so much so that Ashley Merchant sent Bradley the motion that she was going to file, the motion to disqualify Nathan Wade and Fani Willis and all that, sent it to him with all this improper stuff by Wade and Willis and all that, so that he could look it over and make sure the details were correct. He had the copy of the thing before anybody else. Terence Bradley did. He sent it back to her and said, everything looks good. So he was literally a co-conspirator in this whole thing against Nathan Wade and Fani Willis. But then, now that was in the midst of him and Nathan Wade had fell out, and he hadn't talked to him in almost 2 years, right? Because the whole sexual assault thing in the workplace and them cut him from the law firm and all that type of stuff. So he was pretty much beefing with him. So he like, yo, I'm gonna help them bury him. I'm gonna give Ashley Merchant all his information. And I put it in a text, so there's proof of it. There's a bunch of text messages that I sent. But then I guess Terence Bradley had a conversation with a guy named Gabe. What is his name? Gabe Banks? Let me make sure I got the right name. Gabriel Banks, I think is the name. Yeah. So Bradley has a conversation with Banks. Banks is very close friends with Nathan Wade, right? So he hasn't talked to Nathan Wade in 2 years, but he talked to Nathan Wade's right hand. Right. So whatever happened in that conversation, it made Terence Bradley change everything. So it pretty much now we're at the point where we're at now. And it's pretty much like, I don't have anything to say. I don't know anything, like attorney-client privilege, all that. I don't know anything. And it was all speculation. Even when I did say it, I had no way of knowing. I don't know. So they are super on him like that. But either way, like Bradley is not on trial. Bradley's just some guy that just got exposed for being nasty. He sexually assaulted one of his employees. He was so nasty, he sexually assaulted a client. Like, he just can't help himself, right? So he's just been exposed for like being a disgusting fella. Lied on, or whether he lied on your friend or you lied to these people while he was doing an investigation. He pretty much is in the middle of a lot of this stuff because he's just running his mouth. So so that happened on like Tuesday or whatever. They established like, so you telling us you're lying now? Like, we know that you was telling the truth because you knew everything that was going on and you supplied this information and you confirmed it. That was like 2 months. That was at the beginning of January, they said. So whatever that happened, he was the only witness they brought back. They didn't make Nathan Wade testify again after the whole attorney-client privilege thing. So pretty much that was done. Then they said, all right, we're going to come back Friday and we're going to give final arguments and then I'll make my decision. The judge said that. We'll make a decision. So then we come to Friday. The judge starts it out like pretty much referee type. He's like, yo, defense, y'all get an hour and a half. Y'all split it up however y'all decide. And the state is going to get an hour and a half. And they do whatever they do with that hour and a half. So the defense gets up there. They're like, all right, we're going to do 20 minutes each. You know what I'm saying? We're going to do our thing like that. It starts out very key to me because this was very strange. I don't know what this was about. It starts out with Ashley Merchant's husband, not Ashley Merchant. Now, y'all tell me what y'all saw when y'all think about this. Me, I'm like, how deep is the sexism in this whole camp that they didn't let Ashley Merchant finish out her food? They didn't let her finish her own plate. This entire thing is in front of us because of information Ashley Merchant knew about, because of a motion Ashley Merchant filed, because of a friend that she had that fed her all the dirt. Ashley Merchant is the one that cracked all of this investigation and all of this looking into Nathan Wade and looking into Fani Willis. She's the one that had it. She did it. And instead of letting this lady finish out her joint, finish out her argument, and close the case, seal the deal, they sent her husband up there. Now, maybe one of y'all have more information about this thing than me. I watched it from the beginning. I didn't hear them say like, hey, she's out with COVID, or hey, she got to take care of the kids, or hey, she's doing it. I didn't hear none of that. So the judge even thought that she was there. The judge said, go ahead, Ms. Merchant. And then the husband walked up and said, sorry, you stuck with me. So even the judge didn't know what was going on with that. So I need somebody to explain to me. And I felt like the judge was rocking with Ashley Merchant, like just watching this whole hearing and all this. It wasn't like the judge was kind of pushing back against her a lot and telling her to sit down, shut up, like, sustaining all these objections against her. I didn't see that. So to me, I need somebody to tell me for what reason would they not allow her to finish her meal? You know what I mean? Like, this whole thing is because of her. So the fact that she didn't get a chance to close it out is a little weird to me, especially with her husband being her partner. He should have made sure she was the one that closed this out. Come on, this is the whole thing. Like, a lot of women in these spaces, of course they might love you, like you, whatever, as a spouse or whatever, but a lot of them also need you to not just protect them from other people, but to make sure that they're in spots in the front. Because sometimes people try to push them to the back. And they want you to like say, hey, all y'all chill. It's her turn. Like, let her do it. That's what they need us as men for also. It's like, nah, y'all, get the whole room quiet so that she could talk. Not get the whole room quiet so you could talk for her. That's not what that's for. Again, I don't know why she wasn't there. Maybe somebody else heard it. I didn't hear them say anything about her incapability of being in the courtroom. I think she was on Zoom, actually. So it's very odd to me that they wouldn't make sure that she was just there on Tuesday or whatever, earlier in the week, whatever day that was. She was just there. So the fact that you as the spouse and partner wouldn't make sure that the lady who cracked this whole thing off wasn't there to finish it, very telling. But anyway, so Mr. Merchant gets up there. he does his whole 20 minutes, and he went over a little bit talking about how, there's all this evidence and it's just too much of a conflict of interest. Like, and you don't even really need, you don't need like hard evidence about any of it. Just the fact that there's a question about these people's character and their ethics and all this, just the fact that there's a question is enough to get them disqualified, because prosecutors have a higher, and I don't know if he said this, but pretty much the gist of what they were all saying is prosecutors have a higher standard. They can't do anything out of pocket. You know what I'm saying? He's like, what do they call it? Forensic misconduct, because they're like, she's supposed to report any gifts and benefits over $100. So the fact that she's like, yeah, I'll just pay them back. And they're saying like, she doesn't have any proof of paying anybody back. There's no bank statement showing that any money was received. There's no proof of anything saying that, excuse me. There's no proof of anything saying that Fani Willis paid back Nathan Wade. Nowhere. Which means, so the reason that's important is because like pretty much saying that that's a gift. That wasn't just like a loan and you gave it back. That's a gift because you accepted something that you didn't have to pay back on. So it's improper gifting. Essentially, you used your position as district attorney to funnel money to your boyfriend, and then he spent that money on you. So this is an improper situation going on. And that's pretty much what they're saying. And then, I felt like, and I'm not going to go through what every defense attorney said, because now that I'm thinking about it, all of it goes together. And I'm going to say this is what I like what the defense did. They kind of tricked Nathan Wade and Fani Willis, right? Because they put a lot of emphasis on, did this relationship start before November 1st, 2021 or whatever? And like, so all of these situations is like, nah, we didn't start a relationship before that. We started our relationship after that. And then the defense kind of flipped it to kind of say, now they didn't say this verbatim, but they kind of were hinting that it really don't even matter when a relationship started. The fact that you're in a relationship with a person that is appointed under you as a special prosecutor in a major case like this, that is a conflict of interest, because the conflict of interest comes in when we say the person doing the appointing, which would be the district attorney, elected official, district attorney, should be disinterested from pretty much the outcome of the case, or disinterested from the case and how it goes. But because that is your boyfriend or your partner at some point or at any point, you're not disinterested. You're extremely interested. And that's also proven by, and they kept bringing this up, the speech that she gave at a church. So you are now trying to malign the character as you're an elected official in a position of power in a judicial system in Fulton County. You're trying to malign the character of the defendants instead of just letting the case play out as it needs to play out and just letting the facts prove what the facts prove. So you pretty much went into this church and said that they were trying to attack this black man, saying that they were racist. And again, I'm speaking on it like I don't agree or disagree with either one. I'm saying what the defense was saying. They're pretty much saying that her going into that church to call them racist was also improper and a violation of her what is it, fiduciary duties type of thing. So they pretty much brought up a lot of different reasons as to why any one of these reasons should be the reason that they're disqualified from this case, and that Fani Willis is removed from this case, presiding over this whole thing. And then so they took their hour and they actually took an hour and like 25 minutes. So they had an extra 5, and then they came up and said, hey, can we like take this extra 5 as a rebuttal because we don't have enough time to really do another segment. And the judge is like, all right, cool, whatever. So now the state goes up there, and the state is just the prosecutor that went up there for the state. First of all, he's choppy, stumbling through the whole thing. He didn't have any strategy. He just kept repeating the same stuff over and over again. I'm like, yo. And Fani Willis actually came into the courtroom for the state side of things. And I'm like, yo, there's no way she's confident after he just did what he was stumbling through everything. He was having a hard time answering the judge's questions. And when I say he kept repeating himself, This man really kept saying the same stuff over and over again. One time, the judge asked him something about these cases. He was like, but the case law doesn't really say what you're saying right there. It doesn't really show conflict. He froze.
What I would submit to the court
is... Let's go back to that. Show me how.
Yes. Show you how.
So I think the first one they cited was battle versus the state. Certainly a conflict of interest or the appearance of impropriety would be the grounds of disqualification.
Well,
there are a number of these cases that seem to exclusively rely on the appearance of impropriety.
Right.
Well, they acknowledge that there's some ambiguity here, that sometimes Whitworth gets cited to Ventura, and we've got this quote that comes up where it's just they only cite to an actual conflict that must be involved. But they acknowledge the ambiguity. You're saying there's no ambiguity whatsoever.
I am saying that, and why I am saying that, why I would submit that to the court, is in all of those cases, they do reference the appearance of an impropriety, but they reference that because they also find there's an actual conflict in each one of those cases.
So your position would be, your review of the case law, there's never been an appellate opinion that relied only on an appearance of a propriety.
As it relates to a prosecutor or district attorney, yes, that is what I'm saying.
Like he just froze. Like, I'm gonna try to find the clip and put it there. He froze. He didn't really have an answer. Like, he just got stuck. And then the judge even looked away on some the judge kind of caused secondhand embarrassment for him. I'm like, whoa, this dude is not the person that should be in this position. It's funny. The state also did that thing because a lot of the other hearings for this whole situation I saw, it was a woman prosecutor doing the question and all that type of stuff. But they ended the final argument with the man. Very interesting why they did that. I don't know. But yeah, this is a very wild one. I mean, they pretty much ended it out. I think the prosecutor did a terrible job, like making his argument. And when he ended it kind of awkward. The judge is like, okay. The judge, because the judge, this is what they call an argument. So the judge is going back and forth with these attorneys as they're talking. He did it with the defense and with the state. So he was going back and forth with them, trying to get a better understanding of what assertions are you really trying to make. And is it sound? Like, are you making sense right now? Like, can we look at the case law? Like, I'm familiar with it. Like, let's look through it and figure out like what you're talking about, because I don't really know if you know what you're saying right now. So the judge is challenging them a little bit and making sure that what they're saying is a sound argument. And of course, they had to defend their points and stuff like that. But when it was over, then, the attorney for the defense, one of the attorneys for the defense, I think it was Trump's attorney, he came back up to finish it off with the final 5 minutes. And he pretty much just said what I just said. Like, he just came up here and repeated the same thing a bunch of times, and he didn't even address what we've been saying. So they pretty much don't have anything that could help stop them from this disqualification. Pretty much, here's a laundry list of things as to why they should be disqualified. They was hiding it. If this relationship was so proper, they wouldn't have hit it like that. And I didn't realize that I thought they just had like phone call and text message records. They have all of the cell phone data for Nathan Wade. And they said they talked on the phone for so many thousand times. I'm like, damn. They followed his geo-tracking data, followed him to that East Point apartment that was Miss Yersey's. Am I saying her name right? Man, it's tough. Like I've been saying, the way that everything came out, I thought that Nathan Wade was in trouble even before the final arguments. I think that he's for sure getting removed. I don't see any other way I don't see how they can combat the removal part. All of it just looks too bad. And pretty much what the defense is saying is that just the fact that you have any of this improper activity, the fact that you had an attorney lie in his divorce proceedings less than a year ago with this affidavit saying he never had any relationship with any other woman. And then he came up in here and said, like, yeah, I did have a relationship with this other woman. And he's still married to this day. That alone calls his whole character into question. And he shouldn't be able to, he's a lawyer, so he understands the magnitude of lying under oath. And he did it willy-nilly in his own divorce hearing. So, yeah, man, y'all put in the comments. Y'all let me know how you think it's gonna go. I know how I think it's gonna go, and it's not because I don't like Fani Willis. I like Fani Willis. I just think that she made bad decisions when it came to how she wanted her district attorney appointment to go. Not appointment, her district attorney term. I think she made bad decisions. She decided it would have been cool if she would have just stuck to let me take out the gangs, or if she would have said let me take out the political people. But going after high-level $1 million gangs and going after $1 billion political people at the same time, knowing that your office is, or maybe she didn't know, I guess she's finding out now, your office is not strong enough for that. You don't have strong enough prosecutors to do what you're trying to do right now. And this really hit me, and it made me think the best lawyers in the world don't work for state prosecution offices. The best lawyers work for rich people. That's the financial people, that's the lawsuit people, and that's the criminal people, the criminal defense people. They work for rich people, and they work at rich businesses, high value businesses, high net value or market value businesses. That's where the best lawyers in the world work. And they work to protect their clients from lawsuits and stuff like that. They don't work to prosecute. Prosecutors shine because they are bullies against poor black people. That's why prosecutors have 95, 98% conviction rates, because they get to bully poor people. It's not because they're just super lawyers and they just do everything good and they're just the smartest people ever. They really just make their name off of, you get a dirty cop, pass me some information. Hey, I'm going to threaten them in the thing. I'm going to tell them, hey, if you don't take this plea deal, you're looking at 10 years. You take this plea deal, you can get out in 6 months. So somebody, that's the type of stuff that they do. That's where they make their marbles. That's they get their rocks off doing stuff like that. The poor people, somebody that's dang, I can't afford a lawyer to help me fight this, and I'm stuck. Really, I'll just take the 6 months and I'll take the conviction. I'll be a felon forever and I'll be on probation for 10 years. Whole time, they're going to get caught up again because the police going to bother them. Police contact is a probation violation. So these prosecutors, they really it's no other time been more evidenced than in this Trump hearing situation. Because the prosecutors in this whole thing trying to go against Trump's lawyers and all them, they look terrible. Not gonna lie, they look terrible. And the way Nathan Wade was answering those questions, if he would have had to prosecute in this case, I would have watched it. That had to be some must-see TV, because I had to hear how he's prosecuting somebody. I had to hear it. Bradley, I don't know what you, I don't even know if you're going to still be a lawyer when this is over, my boy. The judge in I ain't even finished that. The judge in the Fani Willis thing, he said that he's going to make a decision sometime within the next 2 weeks. All right. So y'all make sure y'all stay tuned for that. When it comes up, I will be reacting to it